Hello and welcome to another Golden Throne painting guide. This time we're doing power armour for Ultramarines. As you can see, this is a Primaris Marine, and I've decided that I'm going to paint just the leg area there. The reason I'm doing just that area, it's just so we can focus on one specific place on the miniature. The paint we'll be using today is Macragge Blue. That is followed by Null. That is then also followed by Calgar Blue. We also have Fenrisian Grey, and we're going to finish off with Blue Horror, which is an edge paint. I'm also using an Artificer brush from Games Workshop alongside a base brush, standard base brush. So we'll go ahead, we'll get a nice dollop of Macragge Blue on our palette, and we will water that down. Usual amount, about 50-50 water, 50% paint, 50% water. And we're just taking a standard brush, or a medium layer brush, whichever one you prefer, and we're just going to cover that leg in Macragge Blue. So that's the finished leg. We're just going to let that dry, and then once it's dry we'll do another layer of watered down Macragge Blue. So we'll get the Macragge Blue out, and we'll do another small layer of Macragge Blue, about 50% water, 50% paint. And there we go, there's two layers of Macragge Blue, quite good coverage. What we're going to do next, once this paint's, well, as the paint's dry, we're just going to paint it over again in the areas that would be black. So we'll take our Ababbon Black, and we're just going to do, again, 50% paint, 50% water, and we're just going to cover up some of the details that we've gone over with the blue. Now you can be a little bit more careful if you wanted to, that's fine, but for the sake of this tutorial I'm just going to go over the areas that I've painted in blue that I want to be black, and it's really just so that people can see exactly what it is I'm painting on the screen. So as you can see there, I've just done the pipes. So once tidied up, the next step is Null. There's no watering down with washes. With this one we're just taking the paint straight from the pots. And we're going to try, you get as much as you can on your paintbrush. You can use your palette if you want to, but just try and get it as little as you can on your paintbrush, and we're just going to go into the recesses of the model. So you can just see on this knee pad, I am being a little bit messy, but that's fine, you can clear it up, and that's the next step to clean it up. So don't worry if you're going, you know, a little bit messy or you're going outside of the lines, it's perfectly fine. And that is what it should look like with all the Null oil. We'll just wait for it to dry. Next step is Macragge Blue again. We're just going to basically tidy up everywhere which was quite messy from the oils. You don't have to do this, you could do it after you've done the highlights, but I'm just quite a clean painter. I like my the surfaces of the models to be ready for the next layer. But it's completely up to you. Again, 50-50 mixture. So 50% paint, 50% water. And there we go. That is one tidied up marine. The next step is Calgar Blue. Just remember to water it down again, so we're going to take 50% of the blue and then 50% of the water, and all we're doing now is just basic edge highlights. So, pick up the bottle, and basically anywhere there's an edge on the power armour, you're just going to do a very, very fine line. Try and be as neat as you can, and try and have as steady a hand as you possibly can whilst you're doing this. As you can see, I'm not going crazy with the paint. I'm just applying it in limited areas, just to the edges. And where there isn't an edge, so you can see at the edge of this foot, what I'm doing is I'm creating where I think the light would hit the most at the edge of the foot. So if there isn't an obvious line, just see where the light would hit the model, and then do the line. Put an artificial line in it yourself. And there we go, that's the first layer of the edge highlighting. That's all done with Calgar Blue. We have messed up in a few areas, but we can always tidy that up later on. Next step, Fenrisian Grey. So this is going to be the highlight, which is kind of the final highlight, but not quite. So with this one we want to be a little bit more spurring. So with the previous highlight, we did all of the lines all along the power armour, as you can see. But what we're doing now is we're just going to take this paint and we're going to apply it in limited amounts on the model. So 50% paint, 50% water again, and then we're going to find out exactly where the light would hit the model in its more direct areas. So very sparingly just along the edges. So can you just see just above the knee pad, we're not doing the entire line, we're just doing a tiny amount just along the top. And the same again just along the bottom where the sun might hit, or any artificial light, just on the edges. And this really helps add to how crisp the armour and the edge highlight will look. And there we go. A little bit messy still, but don't worry, we can always clean that up. But that is with the second to last highlight on. Okay, so what we're going to do now before we do the final highlight is we're going to take that Macragge Blue again, the very first colour, and we're going to try and tidy up some of this model. So it's looking great and it's looking fine, and this is an extra stage that you can do if you really want to. And what we'll do is we'll have about a 30% to 70% mix so 30% paint, 70% water, and instead of using any glazes, we're kind of glazing it as well as tidying the model up. So you can see where I've gone over a little bit, or it's not quite as neat as it could be just there. I'm just going to tidy it up so that then the line is as sharp as it possibly can be. Okay, there you go, nice and tidy. What we'll probably do is tidy up some of the black lines in the areas with some black paint. But that's done. Okay, this is the final highlight, and this is important in that you use it very, very sparingly. It's a very light paint, as you can see, and it's an edge paint. So, same mix as before, about 50% paint, 50% water. There's a bit more water in that. Yeah, just usual consistency, what you're happy with painting. Just clean the brush, and we're getting a little bit on the edge of the brush now, so we're not going to go crazy with it. Just getting a little bit on the edge of it. And in the same way that the previous highlight was very, very limited, we only did tiny amounts. With this we're doing an even smaller line. In some cases we're just doing a dot. Now you can also go the extra level with this. You could just go straight to white, or you could add an extra highlight of white, but in that case it really is just a dot, and you would stipple it in the places where the final highlight was. And there we go. So you can always tidy it up a little bit more if you wanted to. Just repeat this entire process with all of the power armour and you'll have a great looking Ultramarine in no time. And this is the finished miniature. You can always find us on goldenthrone.com, golden-throne.com, and if you have any questions or anything like that, leave them in the comments. Thanks very much.